So good morning, good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're doing excellent where you are. What it do? What's up? What's popping? Waiting to gong. I hope you're feeling good and you had an amazing weekend and that you're just eating good food, happy, smiling, everything is good for you. I hope you're starting your week off beautifully. Let's see. I want to react today to this video. Um, Drink Champs. Drink Champs is a hip hop podcast, hip hop show, and they talk about hip hop things, right? So they have a longer interview with the rapper Xzibit, who's been around for a minute, way back, Pimp Your Ride, and before that as well. So he's from Detroit, but I believe he is on the west side now. So I saw a clip of this. Like, I already saw part of it, like maybe a 2 to 3 minute snippet of this clip I'm about to show you. And this clip is excerpted from a larger interview, which I think is maybe an hour plus long. So, okay, let's go. Without further ado, let's get into it.
I'm gonna ask you to be as freely as you can. Mm-hmm. When this Drake and Kendrick thing first started, Drake is the biggest artist in the world. I believe Kendrick took a shot first, right? I believe the big three, homie. This is not big. This is big me. But Kendrick has been known for this.
Mm-hmm. No, but they've been going back and forth.
No. But remember, Kendrick went at the whole. Okay, at one point, he's like, I'm Frank White. I'm the king of New York, right? Like, caused this whole controversy. But this time, this is.
See, here's where I have to disagree with you. Already. I gotta disagree with you already because Kendrick didn't start anything in recent history. So if we're gonna talk about this whole beef between Kendrick and Drake, if you want to say Kendrick started it with Control, which is a song off Big Sean's album 2012, 2013, you could say that Kendrick started it, right? In that sense, right? But the Control verse wasn't really genuinely antagonistic. The Control verse was more like just competitive, just like hip hop competitive shit. Like, I'm out to, like, what he literally says is, I'm out to be the best. I'm out to slay all of you motherfuckers. Like, that is competition. That to me is not the beginning of beef. Like, other people responded to that beef like, yeah, you say fuck me, I say fuck you. You say you're the best, I say I'm the best. That was the energy of it. I mean, Mac Miller, his response was in that same, like, this is hip hop, we go at each other, but it was like like friendly competition type of vibe, right? So if you want to say Kendrick started it, like, in terms of the Control verse, I guess you could say that. But if you want to talk about 2024 portion of the beef and say that Kendrick started it with Like That, that's inaccurate. Okay, because even in Like That, it was, first person shooter, I came with all the switches, something like that, right? So he's directly in Like That, which is a song off of Metro and Future's collab album, We Don't Trust You, or We Still Don't Trust You, I think, right? So, like, Kendrick's verse on this Future and Metro Boomin track was a response to J. Cole and Drake's song First Person Shooter on For All the Dogs. So right there, when you say that Kendrick started it with Like That, you're already wrong. Let's go back.
Back and forth.
No. But remember, Kendrick went at the whole New York. Took a shot first, right? I believe Drake is the biggest artist in the world. I believe Kendrick took a shot first, right? I believe the big three, homie. This is not big. This big.
It doesn't matter what you believe. It matters what the facts are. Okay? It's not about what you believe. Go and look at the fucking timeline. In fact, I already pulled it up. Because I love facts. Oop, doop. That's not what I mean. Hold on. I do know how to use my computer. Like, be quiet. Pulled it up already. Okay? Thankyouculted.com. Okay? That's the website. So this is the full up-to-date timeline of Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. Okay, written by Robin Pullen. This is a month ago. If you're interested, they're saying it's a 5-minute read. So, yeah, 2012, right? Shit started off subtle. Cold War between Kendrick and Drake. Let's put Kendrick's name first. Be serious. Began brewing since 2012, but it really kicked off in 2013, instigated by Kendrick's feature on Big Sean's track Control, in which he name-dropped Drake and a number of other rappers saying, I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you. Drake clapped back the same year in his track The Language, sneak dissing Kendrick with the line, I don't know why they been lying, but your shit not that inspiring. Okay, so like that, let's look at the year 2023 to March 2024. That's what we're talking about. Then like that, a track on the album We Don't Trust You by Future, Metro Boomin and Kendrick Lamar dropped on March 22nd. In the track, Kendrick called out both Drake. This is what I'm reading, by the way. In the track, Kendrick Lamar called out both Drake. Where the fuck am I? And J. Cole, referencing their collaborative track on For All the Dogs called First Person Shooter by saying, fuck sneak dissin', first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches, but the nail in Drake's coffin undeniably is Kendrick's line, motherfuck the big 3, it's just big me. I'm really like that, and your best work is a like. I'm sorry. This is like my favorite line. Because he snapped, bro. Kendrick was like, fuck you. He cannot stand them niggas. Motherfuck the big 3. It's just big me. I'm really like that. And your best work is a light pack. Nigga Prince outlived Mike Jack, right? Right? So let's be honest and let's be fair and let's be real. Okay? Kendrick didn't start anything with like that. He was continuing a conversation that had been going on for years, and he was very specifically responding to First Person Shooter, which came out before like that. Okay? So we can say a lot of things, but we're not gonna say that like that came out of nowhere. Okay? We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Okay. So let's get back into it. I like facts.
But Kendrick has been known for this.
Mm-hmm. No, but they've been going back and forth.
No, but remember, Kendrick went at the whole New York at one point. He's like, I'm Frank White. I'm the king of New York, right? Like, caused this whole controversy. But this time, this is something kind of really, 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 really different, right? Did you understand what Kendrick was doing from the beginning? Or this was something that, after you saw it, you was like,
well, I mean, look, dude, you have to take a step back first because you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. There's always something happening behind the scenes that we're not aware of.
Right.
It spilled over into something else. But here's what I will say about that. I think Kendrick Lamar is a very special individual.
Yes.
I think he is a deep thinker. I think he is a big part of what is unifying and energizing the West Coast right now. And I think he was severely underestimated.
Yes.
And
bitch, let's stop. Let's just pause. Okay? Let's pause right there because that is like when I heard him say that, like this is a part of the part that I saw before that made me say I really want to talk about this, right? Kendrick has been underestimated probably most of his fucking career by people who don't even have 1,000th of the talent that he has on an off day. Do you know what I mean? Like, people really underestimate him, and I don't know precisely what that's coming from. I'm not sure. I feel like there definitely is an anti-West bias. You know, West Coast, East Coast rivalry has been there for a long time, right? I feel like it's been there probably since, I don't know if I would say it's been there since the early days of hip hop. I don't know, because I would really have to do research and see, can I see any lyrics or any interviews that detail that? But I definitely know that East Coast versus West Coast has been a thing. That rivalry has been a thing since at least the 90s, right? Because the biggest example of that would be Pac and Biggie, Pac versus Biggie, East versus West, through that whole period of time, right? I think there was probably like a good-natured rivalry between the East and the West, but I think that for some people it's a good-natured rivalry these days, but I think that there's actually kind of anger there. Like there's, I don't know, it don't be feeling like good-natured rivalry with some people. Some people I just feel like they genuinely be resentful that, you know, the West Coast is really being talked about right now in hip hop music. And it's like hip hop music is an international phenomenon that, of course, the birthplace of is the Bronx, New York. Boogie down all day. Boom, boom. Throw your exes up, ho. And we have to acknowledge that hip hop has traveled. Like hip hop, there's different kinds of hip hop. There's, you know, there's West Coast, Southern, just talking about the US. We're not even talking about hip hop outside of the US right now. We have East Coast hip hop, we have Southern hip hop, and we have Midwest hip hop, West Coast hip hop. And within, you know, Midwest hip hop, you got different vibes. You have, you know, like Ohio vibe, which is like Bone Thugs and Harmony. You got like Detroit vibes, which is probably like, who would I say? Try me. I know I'm so off fucking beat. What's this person's name? The one who brought out Try Me. Oh my God. Don't tell me you don't remember her name. Try Me. Detroit artist. Dej Loaf. Bro, what the fuck? You have Dej Loaf, right? You have, you know, you have different kinds of Midwest sounds, different cities and pockets with different kinds of sounds. You have, if you want to talk about the South, I mean, you have Virginia, right? You have Virginia, be more DC. You have like Florida vibe. It's like, you know, Trina. You have like let's see, Dallas, Houston, you know, you have New Orleans hip hop, you know, Hot Boys, you have Dallas and Texas in general. Houston, H-Town, of course, right? You have Bumby, Pimp C, like you have the West Coast. There's like a lot of different regions. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of different regions of hip hop just within the continental US. And then, you know, within those regions, you have different variations. And of course, you have artists within those variations who are all also going to be distinctive and unique. And my purpose and point of saying all this is that hip hop is regional. There's no hip hop that's more original than the other, in my opinion. I think that the origin of hip hop is important to know and understand, and the creators of hip hop is very important to know and honor and understand. At the same time, other people sound different in other places, and I feel like Kendrick would have more fans if they weren't so caught up in, but he's from Compton. Dead ass, because his flow is ridiculous. And I think a lot of people let the region that they live in determine whether or not they listen to an artist with pure ears and an open heart. And that's something that Kendrick has been dealing with a lot of his career, and I think a lot of other West Coast artists have been dealing with throughout their careers. And I think that just because Like That, Not Like Us, Meet the Grams, 616, like all of these tracks were just so incredible and undeniably so that even people that weren't paying attention to Kendrick previously are like, well, shit. And that, like, they're like, damn, he's really talented. And that, I think, causes a lot of resentment from people who are natural born fucking haters and ops anyway. They were going to be hating on somebody regardless. It just so happens that Kendrick is their target right now. So Kendrick being underestimated as an artist has to do with him being from Compton and West Coast hip hop not being taken seriously. And people thinking that if you're not from New York, you're not really hip hop. And that is part and parcel about what people have held against Kendrick for so many years and been trying to, like, even Drake was trying to little bro him for how many motherfucking years, acting like he's like, this nigga is not even from America, bitch. He's Canadian. Okay, your daddy is from America, you're not. Your daddy is Black American, you're not. You have ancestry that's Black American, you're not. Do you know what I mean? And this is a side note. But I want to say this, right? I want to say that I feel like Drake puts on costumes. He puts on like different kinds of blackness, like little costumes. Okay, Jamaican, go on. You know, you want to like put on that accent. Then you want to do Afro beat. Then you want to put on that motherfucking like cultural costume. Then you want to be from H Town. Okay, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. You want everything. You want to come to fucking Southern California and link up with the game and act like you got some kind of motherfucking claim to the fucking West Coast. Like you want to be everyone to everything. Of course, you want to go to Atlanta and pick up that motherfucking swag and fucking slang. And this is the thing. When you are truly comfortable in your own identity and blackness, you don't need to pick and choose different identities and put them on like motherfucking underwear every fucking day. Like when you are truly comfortable in who you are, you know who you are, and you see your identity as not something you choose, but something that you've uncovered and embraced. Like, your blackness should not be something that you pick and choose from different motherfucking places. Your identity, your culture, your accent, how you talk, how you engage with people, how you understand your culture, that's a combination of a life well lived. Do you know what I mean? Picking up a different accent for every album, every track, every song, every collaboration, it's giving minstrel. Okay, it's giving you're an actor and the role of blackness you're playing today. Okay, we're doing Atlanta. Okay, then you're gonna do motherfucking Jamaica. Okay, then you want to holler at Nigeria. Okay, then you want to go to UK and you want to get it. You want to pop it. You want to pop it and drop it down low with Mr. Skepta over there on that side with the fucking UK hip hop like scene. Like, it's okay to do a lot of different things, but when you're putting on different aspects of blackness, like their costumes, it's not genuinely you. You're not genuinely connecting to anything. You're just picking up what's fucking popping because that's how you see blackness. This is somebody who used to visit his black family like for the summers. So your real life is with white people, and then you go and you have a vacation and with blackness. No wonder it feels like a fucking costume. It's like, I don't, and it's, listen, I'm not going to shade you for having two parents who live in different countries and having to navigate figuring out your identity. Trust me, I can relate. Okay? I had two parents who lived in two different countries. I had to navigate my identity across Nigeria and the US. So, bitch, I'm not going to fucking act like I don't understand complicated, nuanced identities and multiple cultures and figuring that. I'm not gonna fucking say that your blackness is invalid simply because your mother and your father didn't live together and your mama was white. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the way that he grew up, Drake grew up, seems to have impacted his understanding of blackness. And he seems to look at blackness as if it's a costume to pick up, put on, and take off when you're tired of it. He's just like, it's like jewelry. It's like a fucking chain. It's like a goddamn fitted. It's like a fucking pair of pants. It's like a pair of shoes. It's like a Birkin bag, nigga. It's like a fucking grill. He just picks and chooses which flavor of blackness he wants to be, and that's what I can't stand. I don't give a fuck if you have a collaboration with every kind of black artist on the planet, every kind of black aesthetic, black music form, bitch. If you want to do soca, reggaeton, like mambo, Afro beats, like piano, drill. Like, if you want to go through and express yourself in different forms of music, fine. But there's a difference between authentically engaging with different forms of music and putting it on like a costume and turning it into a fucking minstrel show and acting like, oh no, this is my shit. No, it's not your shit. You're collaborating with somebody and you trying to take over their shit and act like you made it. That's some colonizer shit. There's a difference between collaborating with somebody and showing them love and coming through, calling it a collaboration and snatching their fucking style and making everyone think that you're the originator. That's the colonizer aspect.
And I think he was severely underestimated. And when you look at the parable of David and Goliath, and you see, somebody who's, very, dismissive or very arrogant or very, feeling like, because Drake wasn't talking the way he's talking now at the beginning, but when Kendrick wasn't saying nothing, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, it was very funny. It was very poking holes, and he did the Tupac thing.
Drop and give me 50.
What's that thing he said about Kendrick being short? How you big stepping with a size 7? I'm sorry. How you big stepping with a size 7 shoe on? I'm just like, okay, the line is funny. I'm not gonna lie to you, but all of your jokes are Kendrick has small feet and he's short. And Kendrick's response is, you traffic women and you're a horrible person and you're hiding a daughter and your fucking parents should be ashamed of you and your fucking kids are gonna grow up and fucking hate you. Do you see the difference between the analysis and the critique? Drake out here motherfucking playing badminton. just playing, just using his little badminton fucking racket to hit the little badminton motherfucking ball or whatever. Meanwhile, Kendrick is loading up a machine gun, my nigga. You did not enter this motherfucking battle equipped, to quote Billy Shakespeare, okay? In a battle of wits, you came unprepared, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, doing the Tupac AI thing,
right.
You talk about feeling disrespect. I mean, the whole coast, we love Tupac.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The world love Tupac. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God, you know what? I've never asked that question. So when Drake sampled, I want to say sampled or AI did, right? AI did. Sure. So, because Kendrick's line was, you think the coast is going to let you disrespect Pop? I think that Oakland show might be your last stop. You telling me that that's how people really took it? Like,
yeah, he took some liberties with that. And
yeah, I want to also speak about this. So, first of all, I didn't listen to I don't listen to Drake's music anymore. Like from 2019, 2018, I just stopped. I think he's a disgusting person. That's just my opinion. Like based on what I've read about him, based on his own lyrics and the way that he's spoken about Serena Williams, the way he's spoken about Rihanna, the way that he bullies people, the way that he out of nowhere bullied Esperanza Spalding. Who the fuck has beef with Esperanza? What the fuck? Like I was like, this is an abuser. This is my opinion. But when you pick on people, you pick on women, you talk shit about people you used to date, people who you haven't dated in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, you're bullying them, you're using your music as a space to talk shit about them and to spread lies about them and to be rude to them and to also talk shit about and bully their partners. I'm sorry. I'm not interested in supporting or listening to or streaming to anybody who behaves like that. That's bitch made, bullshit ass, disgusting garbage behavior. Fuck you. Okay, so I stopped listening to him a long time ago. But what I do want to say is, bitch, what the fuck was my point? Oh, the Pac thing. The Pac thing. So I didn't listen to any of Drake's music during the beef. There's a couple of things that I heard because the beef is everywhere. You're going to hear a verse or two whether you like it. And then maybe in some reaction videos, I would hear it. I really, if I was curious about something, I would read the lyrics, but I don't listen to him. But I do want to say that Pac AI shit, it's so offensive to me that you think you have the right to take the voice of somebody who is no longer alive without even speaking to his family or the executor of his estate, to not only take his voice, use his voice, put it inside of a single, put it online, and use that fucking voice to disrespect somebody that Pac would have been down with in his real life if he was still alive. I don't think there's any doubt that Pac and Kendrick would have been besties. Okay, if Pac was still alive. At the very, very least, I'm sure Pac would have been a mentor, you know, of Kendrick's, a homie, you know, OG, somebody that they had respect for each other. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't have been like, you know what I mean? So, and even Tupac's estate came out to say, they basically were like, Kendrick is one of the homies. What are you doing right now? If you don't take this down, we're going to take legal action, right? So, I found it deeply offensive that you would take any artist who is not alive or even who is alive and use their voice or their image without their permission or consent. This isn't the first time he's done it. He used Halle Berry's motherfucking picture of her getting slimed on Nickelodeon without her consent. And somebody said, oh, well, Halle Berry doesn't own the fucking image. I don't give a fuck who owns the fucking image. It's an image of Halle Berry. And if she doesn't want that shit as the single of your fucking bitch-made album or fucking song, take that shit the fuck down. That man enjoys violating consent. So for you to think that it's okay to use an artist's voice without their permission, my God, you want to call yourself an artist and tell me that's what you're doing to another artist? It's disrespectful to Tupac, the West Coast, and Kendrick. That man has an issue with motherfucking Kendrick. There was something I saw where when his something online that I saw where like when his toilet flushes or something, it plays a song by Tupac. He also bought Tupac's ring. Like, he has an issue with Tupac. He likes to be disrespectful. He likes to collect the artifacts of people in hip hop like a fucking colonizer, and then not like, oh, I love Tupac so much I have his ring. That's not the energy. It's like, fuck you, I got the ring, now what? Yeah, you sound like a colonizer collecting spoils of fucking war. You're disgusting. All right? So I say all this to say I was really surprised that more people weren't talking about how problematic it is to use AI. Like, in this context. Well, I mean, AI is disgusting in general. Artificial intelligence is fucking killing the planet. It utilizes so much motherfucking, like, of our natural resources just to fucking function, and it's accelerating climate change. So you should have an issue with fucking AI, regardless, as a human being who's a fucking inhabitant of planet Earth, since it's fucking ruining Earth, right? The amount of resources AI takes, and Chat GPT, which is another form of AI, takes to fucking function, it's hurting our planet currently. So you should not be using AI. That's one. Two, as an artist, if you think of yourself as an artist, for you to think that it's okay to use somebody else's voice and image to spread your own message, something that they have no ability to consent to, it's disgusting. It's a violation of the fundamental right, the fundamental like tenet of what it is to be an artist. To create art means that you actually have the what would you call it? You have the agency to create. To create art means you have the control. You have the ability to make something up, to express yourself. You jacking that from fucking Pac by using his voice, nigga. The Tupac estate should have sued fucking Aubrey on GP. Fuck the shit. Like, fuck the bullshit. Off of general principle, you don't have the right to use the voice of our beloved passed on, like, you know, family member without our consent and explicit written permission. Are you crazy? And the fact that more people weren't tripping out about that as a violation of Pac's rights, of artists' rights, as a disgusting step in hip hop. Using AI in hip hop? Hip hop? Hip hop is, if there was ever an example of creativity personified, motherfuckers was hooking up speakers to motherfucking street lights in the motherfucking Bronx to get the fucking party popping. Damn! Creativity is the foundation of hip hop. For you to fucking think you can take a dead fucking artist's voice and use him to say some fucking garbage? The fact that motherfuckers didn't riot on principle because of what fucking Drake did with that fucking AI song, that's how I knew that motherfuckers was just like, y'all are lost. As long as somebody is famous, y'all are gonna say that whatever they can do, whatever they're doing is fine. Whatever they're saying is fine. Disrespect and shit on hip hop, it's fine. Because you've sold some records, now we're gonna allow you to use AI of a dead person? Pac? Pac that made Brenda's baby, nigga? Pac? Pac that said you ain't gotta lie to kick it? Pac? You think he would be cool with you using his voice? You know he wouldn't be. That's why he did it. Because he enjoys being disrespectful. He likes to violate consent. Your label is UMG. There ain't a personal assistant, a fucking outreach, an intern that could have reached out to Pac's estate to say, hello, we'd like to do a song. Can we get your permission? They didn't do it that way because they wanted that shit to go viral and pressure them to be okay with it. They wanted to get people to like it. Because it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, right? That's how people who fucking hate consent work. You just doing whatever the fuck you want with somebody else's fucking voice. If you're such a talented hip hop fucking artist, you're the biggest artist in the world, why can't you use your own voice? Why can't you write your own shit? Why can't you make your own hit without a fucking, I don't even know, sweatshop of motherfuckers whose talent you're sucking out of their motherfucking brain? My God. The talent that man has just eaten from himself, just taking everybody's talent and eating it for himself. Anyway, child, let's continue.
Look, dude, I got no dog in this fight.
Yeah, no, I know.
But
none of us do.
Yeah, but the West Coast is where I'm at, and that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so Kendrick is definitely ruling the pack. You know what I'm saying? And he's setting the tone.
Right.
And so yeah, I just think that what we're seeing now is Hold on. What we're seeing now is the repercussions of stepping on somebody that you shouldn't have stepped to.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not even in the same class. You know, in my opinion, Drake should have just put out a massive hit for the women and went on about his business. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you saying like after
after the first shot, you know what I'm saying? But pride is a mother. Ego's a mother.
Kept going.
Yeah, they're not in the same class. Drake makes hits. Drake makes little, something you can bob your head to, He makes him and his sweatshop workers, they make amazing hits when they're fucking clued in and on point. Honestly. You know what I mean? Them ghostwriters be writing the fucking shit out of them tracks, ho. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to be a huge Drake fan. Bitch, I used to have a blog dedicated to Drake. Like, I used to have a Tumblr dedicated to Drake. I have since erased it because fuck him. But I used to. I was a huge fan. And then I found out some things about him that I just can't stand by. So I'm not a fan anymore. But, like, you're not in the same class. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just a different kind of artist. Like, and even, what did he came out with the Heart Part 6 when Aubrey came out with the Heart Part 6 and he was trying to Kendrick. Do you know what I mean? Just like Kendrick came out with 616, he was trying to say, well, I'm gonna give you some deep shit where I break you down like you broke me down and Meet the Grams, and you ended up misinterpreting Mother I Sober. You ended up saying shit that don't even make sense. You were talking about this minor, that minor. I'm not an A. Like, you, every single fucking track, every single every single lyric in the Heart Part 6 of him trying to Kendrick, he failed. You can't do Kendrick, okay? Aubrey can't do Kendrick, but Kendrick can do Aubrey. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, by that, I mean, Aubrey can't give you a Not Like Us, can't give you a 616, can't give you a Meet the Grams, can't give you different songs that, like, within that time frame that all sound different. All of his songs sound different. All of Kendrick's albums sound different. Drake is not like, he's not a, comment dire en anglais? He's not a diverse or, he makes the same kind of hit over and over again. Like, he's just not very creative. Do you know what I mean? He's not the kind of person that's going to give you vastly different albums. Kendrick is. He gives you an album and you get into the album and it's like this whole new sonic world, and his flow changes. Like, he has so many different things that he does sonically. He makes all these sounds. Beep, 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 beep. Like, he's so interesting to listen to and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? But it's just interesting. interesting. His flow, his pacing, his timing, his cadence, his word selection, his bitch, the nigga got bars. And it's like his Gemini energy is so apparent in how he writes and how he performs and how he presents work, because Gemini is he's a Gemini, right? And Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. People who have a lot of Mercury in their chart, Mercury also rules Virgo. But people who have a lot of Mercury in their chart, whether Gemini or Virgo placements, they tend to be excellent communicators. They tend to be people who they will talk and they will articulate themselves in a way that blows your mind because they have strong Mercury placements. They are able to communicate with you in an intense, powerful way that really hits the mark. Kendrick was born to be a writer, a lyricist, a communicator. He is a very interesting person in terms of just how he approaches his art. Look at the short the things he puts out, the videos he puts out, the film projects. I look at them as short films and film projects. His videos, like, everything is intentional. The photos, the release, the music, everything is so well thought out. He is an artist. Drake is someone that makes hot shit that you shake your fucking ass to and maybe take a couple shots to. It's okay. It's not every day that you're gonna listen to everything. Different vibes, different fucking lanes for different fucking people. Okay? But you and Kendrick are not in the same class lane. You don't do the same thing. You don't care about the same things. Drake is here to be a pop star, a hip hop star. That's what he is. He is a hip hop star. He makes hip hop music. Okay? It's hip hop, popular hip hop. It's watered down, catered for the masses. It's hip hop. Okay? HIP-POP. Okay? So and there's nothing wrong with making hip hop, bitch. We like poppy ass motherfucking hip hop, but you are not in the same level as Kendrick, whose concerns and intentions and desires for his music and his community is on a completely different level. Kendrick knows he's from Compton. He knows he's a black man. He knows he's a father and a partner a husband, a fiance to his beloved. I don't know the status of their relationship, but that's his family union. That's his fiance / wife. You know, that's his family, bro. So he cares about that. He cares about his music. He cares about his community. And you can see that through his activist work, the free concerts that he does. You can see that through how he shows up at graduations and is giving speeches and stuff, encouraging, graduates, college graduates to do this, to do that, to believe in themselves. He cares. Drake cares about money and chains. He cares about collecting the jewelry and the artistic artifacts of hip-hop legends. He cares about telling you that he's the biggest artist. He cares about letting you know how tight he is with Lucian Grange. Well, I don't really know if you're tight anymore. You're taking the nigga to court, so, but whatever. Drake doesn't care about what's happening with black people. He doesn't really make comments. Like, I think in his entire career he made maybe one comment about, like, something that impacted black people. I think it was, if memory serves correct, he made a Facebook post. Excuse me. IG post about a shooting that happened in Toronto. And it was a very big deal because that nigga never talks about shit that happens in his community, right? So, oh yeah, and also let's talk about this side note pertaining this Toronto. No. Okay, my mind. What are my words? What am I trying to say? Aubrey said you don't never plant no money trees. Okay, you're saying that Kendrick don't do nothing for his community. What have you done for Toronto? Toronto niggas don't fuck with Drake. Keep your ears to the street and you'll understand that. A lot of them don't fuck with him. Because he screwed over a lot of people in his fucking city. Taking their music, taking their talent. Bro, if you really put your ears to the street, Toronto niggas don't fuck with Drake like that either. So you talking about another man and what he doing in his city. Meanwhile, in your motherfucking city don't fuck with you, nigga.
At one point, I was coming downstairs, smoke, and it was like another Drake record drop, and I was like, oh, okay. And I felt at that point, at that time, I felt Drake was being the bully. Mm-hmm. This is before Kendrick had dropped anything. I think a lot of people forget that time. Remember when he just kept dropping? Yeah, I mean, they both did that back. I was downstairs on my
Chrysler 300 looked like a Bentley until a real Bentley You know what I'm saying? And you see that.
I knew Kendrick was ill. I knew Kendrick was the man. I knew Kendrick could hold it down. I didn't know Kendrick. I didn't know.
You didn't know Kendrick was a scientist.
Hold on, did I miss something?
I knew.
Chrysler 300.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they both did that back.
I was downstairs on my
Chrysler 300 looked like a Bentley until a real Bentley rolled up. You know what I'm saying? And you see that.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, X. I knew Kendrick was ill. I knew Kendrick was the man. I knew Kendrick could hold it down. I didn't know Kendrick. I didn't know. You didn't know Kendrick was a scientist. I did not know.
A master chess player.
Yeah. He's playing chess.
I knew. No. Because I'm on hip hop. Let me not downgrade myself.
He's like, no. I know hip hop. Nori is so fucking funny.
I just didn't know. Because I'm on hip hop. Let me not downgrade myself like that. I just didn't know to the extent that he went. Because I'm gonna be honest. This new album, what is it? NHL?
Yeah.
What?
GNX.
GNX, you motherfucker. Stop being He be trying to be funny.
I said NHL. I thought it was about National Hockey.
Grand National. Yeah. Grand National X. It's a car.
When I first heard it, and then I was like, damn, man, it doesn't seem like he's having fun. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then...
Oh, no, this is absolutely fun. Are you serious?
It was an LA guy there. It was an LA guy there. Big up Dion. And Dion was like, nah, man, we just have fun a little bit different from y'all. Yeah. And
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about right now. It doesn't seem like he's having fun. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Do you listen to Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. and you say, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like Biggie's having fun, nigga. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You listen to the Carter 5 by Lil Wayne and you're like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like he's having fun. Were they giggling in the fucking studio? Yay or nay? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You listen to Jay-Z, The Blueprint, and you say, you know what I mean, the bars were cool, but it just doesn't seem like Jay-Z was having fun. What are you speaking of? This is what I'm talking about when I talk about bias. Now, this is not like, you know, I wouldn't call this like aggressive bias, but it's just like, y'all be holding West Coast artists to like a standard that doesn't even fucking make sense to anybody with a brain. Who the fuck ever judged a hip hop album by whether or not the artist was having fun during? Nigga, is the bars barring? Yes or no? Is the beat fucking hitting? Yes or no? Is the song making you want to fucking dance? Yes or no? Is the fucking song making you feel it in your soul? Yes or no, bro? What do you mean is he having fun, bitch? You think anybody listened to Noriega talking about, oh, he sounds like he's having fun? Who gives a fuck? If the bars are hitting, the bars are hitting. You think I'm listening to Pop Smoke thinking he having fun? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. When I listen to Pop Smoke, I do be thinking he having fun because of the way he rhymes. But that's not the point. That's not a criteria of what makes a hip hop song dope to me. Well, they weren't having fun in the studio, so this isn't legitimate. You'll just be finding random shit to nitpick West Coast folks about. If you don't like the album, say it like that with your full fucking chest. 10 toes motherfucking. You know what I mean? Down with it. You don't like the album, you don't like the fucking album. You ain't gotta make random excuses about he's not having fun, nigga. Who gives a fuck?
Alright, cool. And I will listen to... We just have fun a little bit different from y'all. Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. And I listened to it the next day, and I understood. Like, it literally took somebody from Los Angeles.
Why didn't you think he was having fun?
Because I just felt like he was dealing with survivor's remorse. I didn't feel like he was, like, enjoying the moment. But I had to hear it again. When I heard it the second and third time, then I was like, oh, okay. He's enjoying the moment, but he's enjoying it in his way.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I don't understand. Why does music have to be enjoyable by the person creating it? Not all music is enjoyable to make. I'm sorry. You think if somebody is making a song about like the death of their mother that they're enjoying themselves in that process? Some music is fucking hard to make. You're talking about tough fucking shit. If you're talking about, you know, my somebody that I love died, or I saw somebody got shot, or like I've been watching the people in my family work their whole life, but they ain't getting nowhere. Fuck this system. Like if somebody is rapping like something like that, once again, to refer back to Tupac's Brenda's Having a Baby. Or is it Brenda's Having a Baby or Brenda's Baby? That song. That's a tough motherfucking song, bro. You think Pac was having fun when he was recording Hail Mary, bitch? Some of those songs are heavy. Okay? Come with me. Hey, Mary, run crazy. And you wanna now? Do you wanna ride or die? La, da, 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 da. Okay, that song is a little sing-songy. Maybe Pac did have fun during Hail Mary. But I just feel like that's a random criteria to place on somebody that I just feel like is a placeholder or a euphemism for you not liking the fucking album. If you don't like the album, just say it with your full chest. Don't tell me about what the fuck you think the person in the studio was having fun or not. Who gives a fuck? Is the fucking track, is the song, is the motherfucking album banging? Yes or no? Do you like it? Yes or no? Do you feel like it has replay value? Yes or no? Don't tell me about some random stupid shit nobody gives a fuck. Oh, I just don't feel like he was having fun in the studio. I feel like he's dealing with survivor's remorse. Who gives a fuck? Okay, let's say he's dealing with survivor's remorse. Is the album good or not? Yeah, this is the thing. It's like a lot of motherfuckers don't want to say what the fuck it is they want to say. That's why when the AI shit came out with Drake, nobody wanted to say, yeah, it's actually disgusting and wrong for you to be using Tupac's voice through AI to say some garbage about a West Coast artist that he probably would have loved. Nobody said that shit. People just sat there and fucking took it and acted like it was cool and normal for somebody to use the voice of a dead person without their consent or their family's consent because Drake was popular. Now that the fucking tide has shifted and Drake has turned into a fucking joke on an international level, now it's okay to fucking criticize him. If this was last year and GNX dropped, I feel like Nori would have said, I'm not feeling it. Okay? But now that everybody, we know Kendrick is on top, bitch. Love it, hate it, indifferent to it, he's on top. He's that nigga. He's not just the king of the West, he's the king of hip-hop. You don't like it, suck a dick. It is what it is. Okay? All right? Now it's a little hard because he's gained so much popularity, like more popularity in a way that's more mainstream than he was in the past. He was already mainstream, baby. Pulitzer Prize winning motherfucker who has 17 or so Grammys. Yeah, he was already mainstream. But he's gotten even more mainstream, bitch. He's the first rapper to headline the fucking Super Bowl coming up on February 9th solo. He will be the first. Do you know what I mean? That is definitely mainstream. Okay? That is definitely more mainstream than last year. So now it's a little bit awkward to say I don't like Kendrick's music because of the level of popularity he's gained since last year. That's why he's saying something like, it doesn't seem like he's having fun, instead of, I didn't like the album. My opinion.
Yeah, look, I don't hang around with Kendrick. I'm not even going to claim to be in his circle. Circle is tight. I know, you know, my family works with him, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really dope to see him have his own lane. You know what I'm saying? And do it the way he's doing it. Right. Like, but still have the full backing of everybody that came before him. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. And he's inclusive. Right. You see some cats that's young and they come up and they just dismiss everybody. Everybody is me and all this shit. And I think that's what we saw. You know what I'm saying? Like Drake was, you know, damn near number one for a decade, if not more. You know what I'm saying? And he felt untouchable. So it's very dope to see, you know, Kendrick come into his own. And I'm pretty sure he was pushed in a lot of ways from that situation. But to see what he turned into and to see what he represents and what he means to us on the coast, it's fantastic. It's dope.
By the way, Xzibit looks great. I haven't seen him in a long time. Like, he looks great. I'm just looking at him. I'm like, ooh, okay, skin, okay, braids, okay. Like, he looks great. Like, he is. Xzibit is like, he's been around for a long time. does not look his age, bitch. He's been around for a long time. He's got to be in his 50s by now. Because when was Pimp My Ride on? Let me look it up, bitch. Let me look it up, because how old is Xzibit? I know this is so, like, this is not necessarily whatever. I care. I'm reacting to this hip hop video. Hold on, how old is he? Yeah, he's 50 years old. Yeah, he's 50 years old. When was, Pimp My Ride? When was Pimp My Ride on? 2004, 6 seasons. Lord have mercy. 2004 to 2007 on MTV. His braids are so consistent. That's like, those are like, he always has these braids. He's had these braids forever. I love a motherfucker that have a signature hairstyle, bitch.
You know what's the crazy shit is? I'm bouncing around, but I'm gonna make it make sense. Yeah. Oh, one of my favorite shows on TV is a show called The Chi. Right? Only thing that's missing in The Chi is on my homegirl Lena Witt. I always tell her, I'm like, yo, man, you got the only city of Chicago without loading Latinos, right? And I'm like, yo, bro, I'm Latino. Like, I can't just look at Chicago without noticing Latinos.
Mexicans.
One thing about me being on the West Coast, and obviously I've been going to the West Coast since 1997, when I would go to Snoop shows or your show, I wouldn't see, no, your show is different. Okay, let me just put Daz and Corrupt. I wouldn't see a lot of Latinos. You know what changed it? Was Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Nipsey Hussle, I went to a Nipsey Hussle, I snuck into it, I think I told you this, or I said it on the show. I went to a Nipsey Hussle concert. I didn't hit him. I wanted to pay to get in. I wanted to look, I wanted to see how this West Coast shit feel.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying, without being nori, right?
Yeah.
And it was the first time I synced, but I didn't know what I was seeing.
Yeah.
Snoop explained to me that you saw that again on stage.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Kendrick brought all of these gangs together. Like, how remarkable is that?
That was the tipping point.
Right.
When he did that pop-out concert and Dre went out there and all them neighborhoods came out there.
See, we didn't
and he
know
stayed
that.
on stage.
Because we want you to explain this in its entirety, in depth.
Yeah.
Us on the East Coast, we looking thinking these are artists. That, although they might be artists, but we're not understanding that they represent different gangs.
Oh, no.
And different territories.
There was some artists up there. There were some artists.
Yeah.
But there was some very important people to the street up there, too.
Right.
That usually don't really be standing next to each other.
Right.
And I think it just really set the tone for what's coming next.
Right.
So everybody saw that shit and was like, oh, we ain't had this before in the West.
That's what I'm trying to say.
We ain't had this before.
Maybe slightly during the peace treaty.
No, it'd be pieces. Of the West coming together. Still excluding some of these parts because of past things that happened or just like that's just how things have been. But when that happened, a lot of shit got pushed to the side and was like, okay, you know what? Let's unite around this W. Let's unite around this genius that is this doing this phenomenal work. And, you know, look, we can beef internally, but to the rest of the world, unified.
Yes.
Like, we haven't had that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that about y'all.
I think that when he said that was the tipping point, Xzibit's talking about the pop out. I feel like what he's saying there is like, this is what I'm getting from it. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. I think what he's saying there is, we on the West Coast knew he was on some real shit. We on the West Coast knew what time he was on, you know, because if you understand the context and you understand who's on the stage, then you understand that what's happening is bigger than music. It's bigger than, you know, any beef with any rapper. It's actually about, you know, utilizing this artistic space as a communal space of healing and peace, and to say, look what we can do when we're united. Look how it can feel when we're united. Look how we can rock with each other, even though we from different spots, different sets, different neighborhoods. Look at how we can do that united and not, do you know what I'm saying? And like, you can bring your fucking crew, be united, and still have your crew. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was saying, let's put down the fucking guns. Okay? That's what Kendrick was saying. Kendrick was saying it's time to come together for something bigger than individual fucking beef. That's what he was saying. He was saying, y'all want to talk about Aubrey. I want to talk about peace in these streets. Okay? That's what I want to fucking focus on. I care about my community. I care about my neighborhoods. I care about peace. Okay? You talking about he ain't never plant no fucking money trees. He is bringing together different fucking gangs who've never been in the same fucking space together because he's working on peace in Compton and in LA and Southern California as a whole, which I know he wants to spread nationally and hopefully globally amongst fucking black people. He's somebody that cares about black people, not just Compton. So I feel like he's doing something in Compton because that's where his heart is. But that's the beginning. That's what I think Xzibit is saying here.
Put that on to me. Ice-T said, listen, he said
that. You know what I'm saying?
I love that about y'all. Ice-T brought that on to me. Ice-T said, listen, he said, you know us West Coast people got beef because you in the industry, bro.
Yeah,
he's like, you think about it, our beefs be between us. And I was so mad at Ice-T because he was right. I was like, word, like if they beefing, if you in the industry,
like the average person,
like the average person, like that California love for lack of a better term, is real.
Handle that shit. It's just like you when your parents used to say, don't act crazy in front of company.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's just what it is.
That's very true.
It's like sometimes that shit spill over into the street, but for the most part, like especially now. Cats got a different agenda.
Right.
We want to see the W go. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's why you see Q coming. That's why you see, Snoop Dogg coming. That's why I'm coming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Make some noise for that.
And what's also dope, I think that I don't think people are mentioning as much about Kendrick, his movement. He brought North Cali into the fold.
Absolutely.
It's not just LA, it's all of California.
So what are you saying about it?
Like the Bay Area. And
Oakland.
But that's considered the North.
San Francisco.
The Bay Area is considered the South.
No.
Okay, my bad. They on top. I ain't geographically put together, y'all. Let's deal with it.
He don't know California is huge.
What class is that? Geographics? Yeah, I ain't go to that.
Geographics.
No, but you absolutely cool.
That nigga said Geographics. Shut the fuck up.
What class is that? Geographics? Yeah, I ain't go to that, kid. Yeah.
No, but you're absolutely correct.
Even with the sound, like in the album, there's a song. It's like, to me, that's the Sonic. That's the Bay Area right there.
But that's all West Coast.
Right.
When people say West Coast, they just think of LA,
Southern California,
Compton. You know what I'm saying? Long Beach. That's not just the coast goes all the way up to Canada. So when you look at the Bay and what they represent, and then it's always been separate there too.
Yeah.
Right.
Southern California, Northern California, two different planets.
Right.
But now it's this thing like
the W.
Everybody.
Right. Yeah, the W.
Everybody. And it feels dope to be able to see, E40 do the opening for the pop-out concert. And it's like the inclusion of it just feels so we feeling strong right now.
Because I felt like, I'm sorry to bounce all over the place, but like New York, we've always had Long Island, and we've always had Yonkers and Jersey, which technically isn't New York, but it is New York. You understand what I'm saying? So I felt like that moment for y'all, like it was like every part of the coast, and not only that. I was about to say the state, but not only that, y'all brought the coast together. That's what's crazy. You know what's crazy?
You know what's funny? Because he's comparing New York, Jersey, Yonkers to like West Coast, and I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can really do that in this particular way because, yes, New York is New York, and Yonkers is a part of that. Jersey, you can see that as a part of that. Philly is like a distant cousin, but they're kind of, I see them as, Philly is kind of far, but because it's so close, they feel like a cousin. I would not call Philly New York, but to me, New York, Philly, DC, I consider that all the East Coast, bro. Because we're so close and because we're literally on the East Coast. But when people are talking about the East Coast, they don't usually mean DC and they don't usually mean Philly. So when he said this, right? He said this, okay, hi 11:11. It's 11:11 on the clock in the video. When he said this, because New Yorkers don't really fuck with Yonkers. I'm sorry. New Yorkers don't really fuck with Long Island. I'm sorry. Like, when people talk about New York, there is not unity in New York in the way there is on the West Coast. In the West Coast, I feel like when people throw their W's up, they mean it. Okay, they mean it. It's like, yes, the West Coast. When people say the East Coast, they mean the 5 boroughs. Sorry, they mean the 5 boroughs. And sometimes they only mean 4. Like, they don't really always include Long Island, right? I feel like Wu-Tang did a lot to, like, bring Long Island into the forefront of, like, people really loving Long Island or respecting Long Island. But New York does not consider Yonkers a part of New York. Like, let's be fucking honest. New York does not consider Jersey a part of New York. You live in Jersey, you're probably going to get clowned. You live in Yonkers, you're probably going to get clowned. And it might be, like, good-natured joshing, whatever. But I know because I lived in Jersey, bro. Like, people don't really see Jersey. It's like a begrudging inclusion. But it's like, nah, that's Jersey. Do you know what I mean? The distinction is there. And it's not as much for Yonkers, but it's there for Yonkers as well. So when you say East Coast, people typically mean the 5 boroughs. And more specifically, they mean their borough above all others, but they really mean the 5 boroughs. And they really are talking about more so when it comes to hip hop. This lighting is kind of sexy though, I'm not gonna lie. It's very cute. I like it. Okay. Microphone on. Microphone on. So yeah, I wanted to finish this. I wanted to re-record it and actually not have my mic be on mute. So that y'all can have the full experience. So all right, let's re-react like it was the first time. All right, let's go.
Yeah. No, but you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Even with the sound, yeah. Like in the album, there's the song. It's like, to me, that's the sonic. That's the Bay Area right there.
But that's all West Coast, right?
And that's what I love. I love that Kendrick is communicating to us on such a deep, nuanced level, right? It's not just the beats that are chosen, the producers that are worked with. It's not just the lyrical content. It's not just the cadence and the flow. It's also, I'm going to change the way that I speak. I'm going to change my accent, my tone, my intonation, my pronunciation, so that you understand that this song is me showing love to the Bay Area because I sound like I'm giving you a Bay Area sound right now. This is me, using production that will let you know what part of California or what part of the West Coast I'm showing love to. When I'm like, he utilizes his voice literally, right? To really, like, he really uses his voice as an instrument, which I love, right? Like, whenever people would ask me like, oh, are you like, whenever people would ask me like, do you play an instrument, I would just say, just my body. just my body and my voice, like, just my body, like, my instrument, this is my instrument, like, my ability to articulate myself, the way that I speak, like, my breath control, like, the accents that I use, the intonation, like, that is another way of communication, another form of communication. Kendrick is using a really sophisticated ways, plural, to communicate. Like, hip-hop is not just about what you say. It's not just about what you wear. It's not just about your swag, your style. It's not just about, to reference, who said this? The aesthetic of the cool. Hold on, who said that? I read this book in college. And aesthetic of the cool. This author talked about the aesthetic of the cool. Yes, bitch. Aesthetic of the cool. Afro-Atlantic art and music. This is a book by Robert Farris Thompson. And he's talking about Blackness and Black art as having this aesthetic of the cool. Maybe I should have a conversation and talk about that in depth, because I actually want to reread what the fuck it is Robert Farris Thompson was talking about, because that book really stuck with me. Like, I was like, the aesthetic of the cool, what? So in any case, I feel like hip-hop is cool. Black music is cool. The things that Black people create are cool. That's a part of what the aesthetic of the cool is talking about, is that we have that fucking fly shit in us, right? And Kendrick gives you that. And he's communicating to you in multiple ways. He's giving you basically short films with his visual, like with his videos, his video projects. Like what he's saying, the messages are nuanced and layered. And I love watching reaction videos about, you know, people reacting to Kendrick, because they're always looking for Easter eggs. They're like, what was he really saying? Like, what did he really mean, right? And I think that that's really fucking fascinating. It's fascinating to me that you are communicating on so many levels that people need to sit and really think and reflect on what you want us to take from this, right? And Kendrick is utilizing the instrument of his voice to communicate with you, to say, I'm showing love to the Bay. I'm showing love to where I'm from. I'm showing love to Compton. I'm showing love to my streets. I'm showing love to not just the streets that I'm literally from, Compton, but California in general, right? I'm showing love to the West Coast in general, and I'm showing love to hip hop, right? And he's able to communicate that with how he says what he says, the accents he uses. And I just find that to be so interesting, because who else is really using their voice as an instrument like that, rather than just giving you the same tired flow, album after album after album after album. He's truly a Gemini. All that diversity of language, like Gemini, which is Kendrick's, you know, sun sign, is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication, right? Whenever I listen to his music, I'm thinking, man, he is such a strong Mercury fucking placement. He's such a strong Gemini placement, rather. That's what I mean, because people who have strong Gemini placements, strong Mercury placements, they're people who really know how to communicate. They really know how to get the message across, whatever form they're using. And what I love about him is that Kendrick doesn't just pick one. He doesn't just say, well, I'm an MC, I'm gonna give you dope lyrics. He's gonna say something through what he's wearing, through the video, through the album art, through the promotion of the shit, through every single, even how he articulates himself from verse to verse, how he changes his tone, his flow, his cadence, from chorus to line to verse, to from you know, 1 8-bar to the next 8-bar. Like, oh God. It's just like, you could really just get lost in just thinking about what he's saying, how he's saying it, why he said it that way. And I love artists who give you a puzzle. They give you a puzzle. They give you something to really sit with and chew on and think about and reflect about and talk about. It's not so straightforward, right? I like that he's direct and he's clear. If I'm going to take a flight, it's going to be direct. Yes, tell me what the fuck you mean and be direct about it. And I also love that there's layers and nuance to how he communicates and what he communicates, and the timing. He really is a lyrical scientist. He really is somebody who's calculated and thoughtful. And why would you go against somebody like that when you know you ain't on that level? Self-reflection is key.
Yes. When people say West Coast, they just think of L.A.
Yes.
Or they think of South Central, Compton. You know what I'm saying? Long Beach. That's not just the coast goes all the way up to Canada. Mm-hmm. So when you look at you know, the
all
Bay
the way up
and what they represent, like, and then it's always been separate there too.
Yeah. Right.
Southern California, Northern California, two different planets.
Right.
But now it's this thing like.
The W.
Everybody.
Right. Yeah, the W.
Everybody. And it feels dope to be able to see, you know, E40 do the opening for the pop-out concert.
Right.
And it's like the inclusion of it just feels so, we feeling strong right now.
Because I felt like, you know, I'm sorry to bounce all over the place, but like New York, we've always had Long Island, and we've always had Yonkers and Jersey, which technically isn't New York. But it is New York. You understand what I'm saying? So I felt like that moment for y'all, like, it was like every part of the coast. And not only that, I mean, I was going to say the other state, but not only that.
Yeah, I don't think that comparison makes sense. Because I think California California is definitely regional, you know what I'm saying, in the sense that you love where you're from, you rock that, you rep that. Yes. And the East Coast, I think, is quite similar. New York is quite similar. But you cannot say, oh yeah, Sacramento, Oakland, Compton, like San Diego, like San Francisco, like Long Island, Long Beach. Like, you can't just say all of those cities back to back and say, yeah, that's all West Coast. And then compare it and say, yeah, the five boroughs, Jersey, Yonkers. Yeah, no, you cannot make that comparison, because the way the West Coast identifies itself and the way the East Coast identifies itself are very different. West Coast, there is a sense of unity, right? I think part of that unity comes from, I feel like the history of hip hop is kind of like everything that's not New York is not hip hop enough. So I feel like West Coast folks were like, if they're not fucking with us, we sure as fuck are gonna fuck with ourselves. So I think that that's a part of it historically, in terms of when you're talking about hip hop, why like the West Coast is so like down for each other. Part of it is like the East Coast was playing like, this is my ball. Hip hop is my ball. Okay. This is mine. Okay. You're a visitor. Like, that's the energy. That's been the energy for some time, whether people want to admit it or not, or be explicit about it or not. Like, it is. You've got to either you're going to be like, you gotta rep where the fuck you from. You doing hip hop? Are you gonna try to kiss a fucking East Coast person's ass who may or may not respect you because of where the fuck you're from? Or are you gonna link up with the people on your coast? So I think that feeling of hip hop belonging to New York more than anywhere else, because that's where it's originated, I think that contributed to the West Coast being more insular and really, really fucking with each other heavy, right? That's one. Secondly, in general, New Yorkers do not claim Yonkers or Jersey. Let's not be ridiculous, okay? New Yorkers barely claim fucking Long Island, and I'm right, okay? So you cannot compare the unity of the West Coast and say, oh yeah, on the East Coast it's like, the five boroughs and Yonkers and Jersey. No, I lived in Jersey for many years, and I lived in Jersey for several years. I lived in New York for many years, right? People look at you as separate if you're from Jersey. Like, it's always going to be a running joke. It's always going to be like, you're from Jersey. It's always going to be, you live in Jersey. It's always going to be that energy of you're on the outside. I don't give a fuck. Ain't nobody claiming Jersey as a New Yorker. Stop fucking lying. Jersey is always seen, whether you want to say, oh, we're just joking, that's just good-natured joshing, whatever you want to call it, bitch, all right? There is not a unity in, when you talk about New York, people really are talking about Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island. And that Long Island is barely there. Wu-Tang being from Long Island, from Strong Island, that's definitely giving Strong Island like some energy to be like, yo, and Long Island folks don't give a fuck. Like, Long Island is like, we're Long Island, fuck you. If you don't fuck with us, we don't fuck with you. Like, that's the energy of Long Island, I'm telling you. But if we're being honest and talking about hip hop, people not really claiming Long Island like that, just like they're not really claiming Yonkers like that, and they're not really claiming Jersey like that, especially when it comes to hip hop. When was the last time somebody was talking about New York hip hop and they was talking to you about somebody from Yonkers or Jersey, bro? They're not talking about those motherfuckers. They're talking about people from Southside Jamaica, Queens, bro. Talking about somebody from South Bronx. They're talking about somebody from maybe Harlem. Talking about somebody from Brooklyn, Flatbush. You feel me? Canarsie. Like, they talking about somebody from Bed-Stuy. People ain't throwing up or talking about Jersey, bro. They ain't talking about, oh, I'm from Yonkers. That's not really the majority of what people are talking about when they're referencing New York hip hop is Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and parts of Manhattan specifically. Harlem, Sugar Hill, maybe El Barrio, maybe. That's what people are talking about. There is no unity on the East Coast. There's unity within boroughs, maybe. But there's not really unity like, we are New York, this is New York hip hop. No. There's more unity in boroughs, like within your own borough, and maybe like Brooklyn, Queens. People have a begrudging acceptance of each other or respect of each other, but there's still like, whatever Jersey, whatever Yonkers. the love that West Coast folks have for their coast, whether or not they have personal beef with a hood or a person, is not comparable to the East Coast. The love that West Coast people have for the West Coast is comparable to the love that maybe somebody in Brooklyn has for Brooklyn, or somebody in Queens has for Queens. People's love on the East Coast, is more borough centric, and people's love on the West Coast, yeah, they're gonna rep their set, but there's a West Coast energy of we rep where we're from specifically, and we rep where we're from in general, which is the West Coast, and I don't see that on the East Coast. It is not comparable. You not gonna sit up here on Drink Champs and act like New Yorkers really consider Yonkers and Jersey folks on the same level of New York as somebody from motherfucking Flatbush or fucking Queens or motherfucking the South Bronx. Please do not get up here and lie, bro.
Y'all from the coast together. That's what's crazy. You know what's crazy about West Coast culture? If you actually pay attention, you guys don't gotta promote to the South or the East at all. You guys can just promote in the West, and you'll be good.
Well, here's the thing.
Sacramento.
The number.
Remember when...
According to the numbers, I'm saying.
Remember when hip-hop was super regional, and you look at the No Limit...
I'm going to say, that's the beat.
People had to promote in their regions. If you were waiting for somebody from another region to fucking respect you and listen to your slang and not make fun of your accent, you're going to be waiting for a long time, babes. It is what it is. There's been a lot of discrimination against like non-New York fucking artists, even if it's just like they ain't hip hop, they ain't real. Why you sound so fucking country? Like, why do you think people don't talk about like certain Southern rappers or Midwest rappers who really have had huge motherfucking runs? Why don't we ever talk about Bone Thugs and Harmony, bitch? People barely talk about No Limit. You talking about female rappers? You talking about rappers who are women? Y'all don't really talk about Trina as much as you should, given her impact on hip hop, period, especially as somebody coming from Florida with that, I believe she's from Miami, that Miami sound. Why you not talking about, what's this woman's name? Ooh, girl, the Southern female. She is Southern rapper. I think she passed away recently. Girl, excuse me. Just to... Oof. Gangster Boo. Princess and Diamond of Crime Mob. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Okay? These are rappers, even when we're talking about, you know... We're talking about rappers. Like, why don't we mention these people? Every day, Little Kim, Little Kim, Little Kim. Yes. And I'm going to be honest with you. We need to talk about Little Kim even more. Okay? Because iconic. And we need to talk about other people as well. Part of the reason why you hear about Little Kim, but you don't really hear about Trina or Missy Elliott or Gangsta Boo or Princess and Diamond of Crime Mob is because Little Kim is a New Yorker. She's from Brooklyn, baby. Okay? She's a New Yorker. So because she's a New Yorker, you hear about her more because hip-hop is biased towards New York. Biased towards New York because that's where it came from. However, hip-hop has expanded to a lot of places regionally. And it's important that we talk about New York as the birthplace of hip-hop. And it's also important that we talk about, you know, important artists all throughout hip hop, like that have... Is my microphone off? Hold on. Thank you. Let me put my microphone in the right place. It's important that we talk about influential people regardless of where they were raised, regardless of where they popped, regardless of where their influence is seen, right? Like, we need to talk about more people, and we don't hear about a lot of rappers simply because of where they're from. If Trina was a New York rapper, in these conversations where people talk about female rappers, Trina's name would come up more. Trina's name comes up a lot, but I don't really think it comes up enough. I'm gonna be honest with you. She's had a huge impact to this day. You know what I mean? Like Missy Elliott as well, from Virginia. Somebody who, as an artist, is one of the most iconic and important hip-hop artists, irrespective of gender. Missy Elliott was doing things in her music videos that niggas still haven't figured out how to do today. And that's facts. She was looking futuristic. We are now in the future. And her shit from 20 years ago still looks like it's from 1,000 years from now. Missy is that girl. Why don't we hear about her more? I bet you if she was from motherfucking Queens or Brooklyn, you would hear about her more. Okay? And even Little Kim, who's from New York, and Foxy Brown, who's from New York, you hear about them when we talk about hip hop, but not enough. We do not talk in depth enough about their impact to this day. So I'm just saying we need to really appreciate the diversity of artists, of talent that hip hop has birthed all over the world. But if you want to just talk about US, like regionally in the US, we have so many different regions that have birthed so many brilliant artists, and it would behoove us to actually speak about their contributions so we can have a real deep, nuanced understanding of where hip hop is today. That's all.
And then even here, you know, in Miami, you look at the sound that was coming out of here that graduated from DJ Magic Mike into, you know, the Luke and Two Live Crew, into Poison Clan, into all these other things that was coming. They had their own sound, so it was regional. So,
what was that name? Trina? And who else? Trina? What's that guy's name? Trick Daddy. That's his name. Thank you. I didn't have to look that up.
The West Coast.
I ain't gotta look that. I know who Trick Daddy is. I was like, what's his name? What's his name? What's his name? You know that nigga. Ooh. Trina a legend. Trina's a legend.
You know, had their sound, and it didn't. We didn't feel like we needed to copy anyone, right? So when the South rose, and you know, after Outkast said the South got something to say, and then absolutely they came and dominated everything in the industry, and they had their sound.
Yeah, we've been up ever since he said that. You Andre 3000.
It's y'all.
I think it's dope because it gave us time to kind of like see where things needed to go, and I just like the fact that we're not changing our sound. We just doing it at a different pace. You know what I'm saying?
Good night, darling. Okay, yeah. So I got to re-record. I got to re-record what the fuck I wanted to re-record. I gotta be careful with this mic, because when you touch it here, and then you touch it again, and you can hear me. So I gotta be careful with this beautiful, colorful mic. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I love you. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Please take care of yourself. Make sure you eat and rest and appreciate your own brilliance and greatness. Remember to follow your heart, follow your intuition, and trust your passion. All right. Have a good day. Bye. Bye. Bye.